you like that.
This is your man.
Yes.
Look at the screen.
That's mine. And I'm going to stick beside him.
And that's what you're going to settle for.
I'm going to stick beside him.
The information we have is that Danny Brown entered the house. I guess maybe an argument ensued. He allegedly shot his wife, and she later succumbed to those injuries at a nearby hospital.
It's been over a week since that happened, and police are looking to get Brown behind bars, including the U.S. Marshal's office.
Who has something to say? Who gonna check me? Who gonna check me? Exactly.
I need everybody to sit down for this one, because what I'm about to tell you is going to make you question natural selection. You're in a hospital bed, shoulder held together with surgical tape and prayer, probably high on morphine, watching nurses change bandages where bullets tore through your body. Your boyfriend, sweet 21-year-old Daniel, is being prepped for his funeral because he died protecting you. The hitmen already confessed that your ex, Danny Brown, paid them $10,000 to delete you from existence. Now, a normal person would be filing restraining orders, maybe looking into witness protection, definitely investing in some quality therapy. But Edwina Brown, this woman really said, you know what? That's husband material, right there. 14 days later, the gunshot wound still draining, probably still finding blood under her fingernails. She's standing at an altar marrying her attempted murderer. And I know some of y'all are already racing to the comments to type Stockholm Syndrome. But hold up, because girlfriend had 11 years to reconsider this decision. 4,000 mornings to wake up and choose violence. The kind that involves special ingredients in his coffee, if you know what I mean. But no, she stayed. Posted her little TikToks, ran her dance team, acted like she didn't marry the Grim Reaper's least talented intern. And then, because apparently God loves a dark comedy, March 27th, 2023, Danny Brown decided to stop outsourcing and handle his business personally. Now, before anybody accuses me of victim blaming, we're gonna have a real conversation about how this woman disrespected her dead boyfriend's memory every single day she woke up next to his killer. Because that's the part of this story that nobody wants to touch. But somebody needs to say it. So buckle up, because this case isn't just about domestic violence. It's about what happens when I can fix him meets I can kill her, and somehow takes over a decade to reach its inevitable conclusion. You're on TikTok Crimes. We cover what happens when social media fame turns fatal. TikTok stars, Instagram couples, Facebook influencers. When their posts become crime scenes, we break down exactly what went wrong. These aren't just viral stories. These are real murders, real victims. Subscribe right now if you want the truth behind the trending hashtags, because by the time something goes viral, somebody's usually already dead. Here's what happened.
If I say, damn, she a lame-ass, loser-ass bitch, and you say, not too much, that's my cousin. Your cousin is a lame-ass, loser-ass bitch. That's not changing nothing I'm saying. Sorry for you.
That woman you just heard? 36 years old, youngest of 4 kids, born and raised in Little Rock, Arkansas, a city where your chances of becoming a murder victim are literally 1 in 7,435. But Edwina wasn't worried about street statistics. She had her associate's degree, worked as a phlebotomy technician. Yeah, she drew blood for a living, which feels ironic considering how this ends. Built herself a whole business called Bodacious Beauty Boutique. Girl really said bodacious with an LLC and a tax ID number. I respect the hustle, but her real passion was the Bejeweled dance team. For 4 years, she coached these kids. Her own daughter was team captain. This wasn't some casual after-school activity either.
So tomorrow, B Jules Dance Company is hosting a major competition. We got people from Louisiana, Kentucky, Missouri, Tennessee that's gonna be competing for the Slay or Be Slayed Championship title.
You hear that energy? That joy? Hold on to that memory, because we're about to talk about how all that light got snuffed out by a man who should have come with a warning label and a psychological evaluation. Danny Maurice Brown Jr., 37 years old and a walking masterclass in red flags. At 17, this man orchestrated a robbery that went so wrong, one of his own accomplices ended up dead. Got charged with manslaughter, did 5 years, came out and apparently thought, you know what my resume needs? More violence. Started collecting domestic battery charges like they were Pokemon cards. Sorry, like they were baseball cards. Actually, no, Pokemon cards is funnier. And you all know it's true. This man would have failed a background check for a McDonald's application. But somehow Edwina looked at all that and thought relationship material. They'd been on and off for years. And when I say on and off, I mean he was on her case and she was off trying to survive. Family members called it difficult, which is like calling a tornado windy. Danny was controlling, violent, and had the emotional regulation of a toddler with a handgun. So in 2012, Edwina did what any woman with functioning brain cells would do. She left him. Got herself a new man, Daniel Hill, 21 years old. 21. Young enough to still believe in love, old enough to die for it. This boy was everything Danny wasn't. Kind, respectful, probably didn't have a criminal record longer than a CVS receipt. And Danny? Oh, Danny couldn't handle it. Now, when most toxic exes see their woman move on, they might drunk text. Maybe create a fake Instagram account to stalk. Worst case scenario, they show up uninvited to make a scene. But Danny Brown said, "Hold my ankle monitor," and went full psychopath. According to court testimony, and this is confirmed, not speculation, Danny approached 2 men with a business proposition, $10,000 and a car to eliminate both Edwina and Daniel. His exact words, according to the hitmen, hit both of them the head off. He wanted Edwina dead by, and I quote, any means necessary. His only condition, don't hurt the children. And everybody wants to act like that's some sign of humanity. No, baby. That wasn't mercy. That was strategy. Living kids, they're leverage. January 3rd, 2012. Edwina and Daniel pull up to their apartment complex on Green Mountain Drive. They're just coming home, probably talking about their day, maybe what to have for dinner, completely unaware that death was waiting. 2 men rush them from behind. Gunshots explode. Daniel, brave, young, stupid in love Daniel, throws himself between Edwina and the bullets, takes one to the head, dies right there trying to protect a woman who would, 2 weeks later, marry his killer. Edwina gets hit in the shoulder. She's bleeding, crawling, trying to survive. Manages to make it inside, hides, waits for the killers to leave. The neighbors called 911, but by the time help arrived, Daniel was gone and Edwina was barely hanging on. The police investigation moved faster than Edwina's recovery. Anonymous tip came in. Funny how guilty consciences work, and they arrested Quentin Bernard Jones and his accomplice. These 2 tough guys folded quicker than laundry at a 5-star hotel. Both pointed straight at Danny Brown. One confessed Danny offered him 10 grand and a car a whole month before the shooting. The motive? Danny and Edwina had been fighting over their kids, and he couldn't stomach watching her with another man. Classic, if I can't have you, nobody can. Except with a homicide budget. One hitman got 55 years. The other got life. Danny got charged with capital murder and attempted murder. The case was solid. 2 confessions, clear motive, money trail. Justice for Daniel Hill was finally coming. Until it wasn't. The day before Danny's trial, prosecutors got news that made them want to day drink. Edwina Brown, the victim, the woman with literal bullet wounds from this man's murder plot, refused to testify. Without her, the case crumbled like a Nature Valley bar. August 2012, all charges dropped. Danny Brown walked free. And this is where our story goes from tragic to what in the Lifetime movie Reject is happening. Because 2 weeks after watching Daniel die, 2 weeks after narrowly escaping death herself, Edwina Martins became Edwina Brown. Yeah, she took his last name, married him. I need y'all to really process this. She probably still had hospital bills on her kitchen counter. Still had Daniel's blood on the apartment lease. Still couldn't sleep on her left side because of the shoulder wound. But she put on a dress and said, "I do," to the man who orchestrated it all. Her family was devastated. Friends were confused. Daniel Hill's mother? I can't even imagine. Your son dies protecting a woman who then marries his murderer. That's not just betrayal. That's spitting on a grave while the dirt's still fresh. And here's what kills me. Literally, nobody could stop her. She was a grown woman making a grown decision. A catastrophically stupid decision, but hers to make. For 11 years they played house. Had anniversaries, celebrated holidays, raised those kids Danny was so careful not to hurt. Remember that detail? Starting to feel less like mercy and more like calculated manipulation now, doesn't it?
You like
This is
that?
your man.
Yeah,
Look at the screen.
that's mine. And
And
I'm gonna stick beside him.
that's what you're going to settle for.
I'm gonna stick beside him.
You hear that? Years after he tried to kill her, she's publicly standing by him. Talking about sticking beside him. Some people collect red flags. Edwina married hers and gave it her last name. During those 11 years, what was their dinner conversation like? How was work, honey? Good. Remember that time I hired killers to murder you? Pass the salt. Did she ever look at him sleeping and think about Daniel Hill? Did she ever touch her shoulder scar and remember crawling across that floor? Or did she convince herself that forgiveness meant forgetting that he was literally a killer? Because here's what we need to understand about those 11 years. They weren't peaceful. You don't just become a different person because someone inexplicably agreed to marry you after attempted murder. Danny was still Danny, still violent, still controlling, still the same man who thought murder was a reasonable response to a breakup. The only thing that changed was Edwina's survival instinct apparently took a permanent vacation. March 2023 rolls around. Something shifted. Maybe Edwina finally grew tired of pretending. Maybe she threatened to leave. Maybe she just looked at him wrong over breakfast. We'll never know what triggered it, because dead women don't do interviews. But whatever happened, Danny decided 11 years was enough. The man who once paid others to do his dirty work was about to handle things personally. March 27th, 2023.
On March 27th, around 4 in the afternoon, police say Danny Brown went to his estranged wife's house on Fairley Drive in Little Rock.
The information we have is that Danny Brown entered the house. I guess maybe an argument ensued. He allegedly shot his wife, and she later succumbed to those injuries at a nearby hospital.
An argument, gunshots. This time no hitmen, no middlemen, no escape plan. Just Danny finishing what he started over a decade ago. Edwina made it to the hospital alive, but died there. 36 years old. And Danny? he ran like the coward he'd always been. But here's where Danny really showed his genius-level stupidity. He called the police himself.
One of our biggest tips, I guess, came from Danny Brown himself. He actually called the Little Rock Police Department, gave a statement to them, and then made the statement that he would basically either harm himself or harm others if he was ever cornered by, anyone, especially law enforcement.
This man really said he'd hurt himself or others if cornered. Sir, you just murdered your wife. The hurting others ship has sailed, hit an iceberg, and sunk like the Titanic. US Marshals tracked him to Dallas. Monday morning, 7 a.m., they surround his apartment complex. And this is my favorite part. Danny opens the door, sees the officers, and tries to jump off the second-floor balcony. Sees more officers waiting below. Scrambles back inside. This wasn't an action movie, Danny. This was a middle-aged murderer, realizing gravity exists and jail was inevitable. He surrendered after a brief negotiation. Probably the first smart decision he'd made since ever. He's charged with capital murder. No bail. Can't contact the kids. Those children, the ones he was so careful not to hurt in 2012, they're orphans now. Mum's dead. Dad's going to prison forever. Their lives destroyed because Daddy couldn't handle rejection, and Mommy couldn't recognize danger if it literally shot her, which it did, twice. Daniel Hill died at 21 trying to protect Edwina. She spent the next decade protecting his killer. Her children will spend their lives recovering from both their parents' choices. And that's what haunts me about this case. Not just that Edwina died. We knew that was coming the moment she said, "I do." It's that she had 4,000 chances to choose differently. Every sunrise was an opportunity to leave. Every sunset, another day, she chose to stay. Some people will say she was a victim. Others will say she was complicit. Me? I think she was both. A victim who became an accomplice to her own murder through choices so bad they defy comprehension. Rest in peace, Edwina Brown. Your story serves as the ultimate warning. When someone shows you they're capable of murder, believe them the first time. And Danny Brown? Enjoy prison. It's where you should have been since 2012. Your kids deserved better than both of you.
If you come to me and tell me what somebody else said, I'm gonna stop fooling with you right then and there. Cause what you say, don't tell me what they said. I wanna know what you said. What you say. Cause you should have went off on it.